everyone, this is Candace. Welcome back to day 18 of, I think it's 18. The days are blurring together while I'm sick. So today is day 18 of my 100-day health challenge, and I know you've now gone multiple days without seeing my beautiful face. I wish that I felt better already, but I don't. I still, in fact, am dealing with a pretty consistent fever. It's not super high or anything. Like I'm not concerned to go in, to urgent care or emergency room or anything, but I have had a consistent fever that's indicating I'm still, fighting something, and I've still had some pretty nasty stomach virus symptoms. I'm almost thinking it could have been or is the stomach flu or something. Anyways, though, I guess today I just, I know I've kind of just been trying to touch base as much as I can and check in and hold myself accountable. But I also thought that, it'd be really good to talk a little bit about how to take care of yourself when you're sick, because I think we take for granted sometimes that there's just going to be some miracle medicine that we can take, or some little miracle drug or something, or some kind of remedy that's going to automatically work and make us feel better. And in some cases that's true, but most of the time recovery is a slow process. Even if it seems like, oh well, I got over this one thing in one day, but you could have something where it takes you a month or 2 months or more to get over some of the lingering symptoms and that kind of thing. So I think we've kind of forgotten in some ways. I know this doesn't apply to everyone, but I think we've forgotten in a lot of ways how to take care of ourselves just at home. I know that some of you are going to say, well, but we've been having to do it the last few years, having to isolate, do all those kinds of things. But that's, it's important even in smaller cases like a cold or a flu, a bout with the flu, or bronchitis or walking pneumonia, or whatever the myriad of things that you can get. I think it's just important to have some basic tips for taking care of yourself at home, and because they tend to apply to multiple sicknesses and illnesses, and I'm not saying this replaces medical care if you really need it, but that's kind of the thing, isn't it? I think we're so quick to just want to run into the doctor, and half the time we didn't really need to necessarily, because in a lot of cases there may not be some kind of thing they can give you that's automatically going to make you feel better, or even if they do give you something, it could take a while to work, and you're still going to have to miss things. And then also the other thing is you've now exposed yourself to whatever anyone else has. I know that medical places tend to keep themselves as clean as possible, but there's no such thing as a perfect situation as far as sanitization, especially when you have people coming in and out all the time. And that's literally the place for people to go, especially if you go to urgent care and not even just your regular doctor. But even in a regular doctor setting, there's so many things you can come across. And so not only have you now potentially exposed yourself to something worse, when your immune system is down, you're exhausted and tired, and most likely needing the rest. And now you've gone into the doctor or urgent care or even the emergency. Well, hopefully you didn't have to go to the emergency room, but if you did, and then it turned out that you didn't need to, and now you've exposed yourself to potentially other things. What if you had just been able to take care of some of that at home? Now, I want to disclaimer that, because I understand that there are times where we genuinely have to go in, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm just talking about the times where maybe you're just, you're not sure what you have, and you just kind of want to give it a little bit of a chance to see if you can self-care at home and recover at home, because that's, what we've been designed to do. In thousands of years, we have gone oftentimes without health care, and that's not always the best thing, obviously. I'm very appreciative that we have health care, but it is very important that we know how to take care of ourselves and then the other people around us. So a little bit of a long introduction, but so tips for self-care at home, and taking care of yourself when you're sick. So I think one of the very first things is to kind of self-monitor. we tend to not be very good at self-awareness. We tend to just push through, ignore, think I can make it, and ignore what our body's trying to tell us. Our bodies are designed to tell us when they need something. All right, from the moment a baby is born, they will cry for what they need. They know, their bodies know. Now, they may not be able to articulate it, they may not be able to say it to you yet, but they will in a way, right? Like mothers and fathers can tend to figure out eventually like what different cries mean, and it's just amazing what we have been born and designed with. And so I think one of the first things is to listen to your body. What symptoms are you showing? What is going on? Don't ignore the small ones either, right? You may think, oh, it's just a little bit of exhaustion, but be very aware that exhaustion lowers your immune system and stress lowers your immune system, and it can damage and make you susceptible to other things. So, for example, exhaustion, extreme exhaustion, not just like I stayed up till 5 a.m. working on a project or a thing for work and now I'm exhausted. Well, you do want to be aware that you're probably a little more susceptible, but that's not quite the same thing as, for example, if you've been fine, doing all right, and then all of a sudden you start to experience just a drained exhaustion. So pay attention to the differences, and as you get to know your body more, you'll be able to tell what's normal and not for you, because everyone is unique and individual, and so we all react to things different ways. Now think about things like, are you stopped up? Are you, do you have cold symptoms like, you have congestion, you have, is it in your lungs? Is it in your sinuses? Do you have a headache? Is it towards the front of your head? Is it in another location? What kind of, how is your headache happening? Is it related, you think, to your sinuses, or is it more, is it neck pain, or is it aches and pains? Do you have a fever? Fever is our body's number one way of telling us when we're sick, and also to indicate that we're fighting something. So pay attention if you have a fever. And sometimes you may just feel really hot because but you need to distinguish, like, what kind of fever do I have? Is this an extreme fever? Like for adults, for example, I think it's, well, for kids, you have to be very careful. It's even a lower fever can be dangerous. But for adults, it's usually, I think, like 102 and above consistently is when you have, don't quote me on that, but I would say any fever over 100 is not a good thing. But whether or not you have to go in to like the emergency room, that's usually a higher fever. And sometimes even then that they have to, they'll do what they can, and then they'll probably send you home, unless it's a very, very big emergency. So, but anyways, pay attention to your symptoms and listen to your body. So that's my first thing that I always try to do. And I've gotten better at it over the years as I've gotten to know myself better. But one, listen to your body. What is it telling you? What symptoms do you have? And then from there, rest and take it easy. For example, right now, I do not feel like going and sitting at the table where I usually do, and actually sitting up and filming and stressing myself because I'm just so weak right now. So I'm literally in bed, holding my phone, recording myself talking. But that's what I need to do because I'm resting, and I'm only doing this once a day because I don't want to overwhelm myself. And also with that, like, for example, I know that because sometimes you still need to do things. Like, you don't want to, there's a danger to staying in bed the whole time. As much as possible, you want to be moving around, especially if you have anything with your lungs. You want to be still moving and exercising. I mean, don't look this up because it can be pretty gross and horrific, but there is a reason why you have to look out for bed sores and things when you lay in bed too long. But it also can cause major issues with lungs if you're having lung congestion or that kind of thing. So move around, don't overdo it, don't exhaust yourself, but move around and rest at the same time. So I know that seems contradictory, but rest, don't be immovable though, I guess is how I should say that. So rest and listen again to your body. Rest when you need to, but when you can, move around. Okay, so and then prop yourself up and try to do things, and know your limits, right? Okay, so that's kind of the next thing. Then hydration. Even before nutrition, as in what you're eating when you're sick, hydration is key. Not only will it help you continue to get better, but if you are not hydrated, that is when it is an emergency. We can go far longer without food, not that I'm telling you to do that, than we can without water. Water is key. We are made up of a majority of water. And so sickness has a way, whether it's because you're sweating it out with a fever or because you're throwing it up, sorry to be gross, but that's the truth, or if you have diarrhea or whatever the case, dehydration is deadly. So do not become dehydrated. Take care of yourself. If you are throwing up water consistently or having consistent diarrhea, that may be a moment where you need to go in. The other thing you can do too, though, with hydration is also put things like like I know a lot of people do like Gatorade or Powerade, sports drinks purposely because of the electrolytes and things that are in them. They can actually help with recovery and hydration. I have actually been taking my MetaPower Advantage continuously while sick. I know that it's not what you think of when you think of a sports drink or something, but I have actually been doing really well with that, being able to keep it down, and it's not been making me sick at all. I've been able to keep it down between different times when I'm not feeling as sick, but it's actually been really helping me. I think in addition to staying hydrated, it's all the extra benefits it has been really awesome. So but along with that, there's different recipes you can make at home. I would encourage you to kind of see what you respond to best. But anyways, the key is just water. If you are having difficulty just downing water, then consider things like, can you stomach a little bit of kind of a gentle watery fruit? I don't know, like watermelon or cantaloupe even. Can you do broth? Broth is really good. The other good thing about broth is it tends to have some very good immune boosting properties when you put certain things in it. So whether that be bone broth, chicken broth, vegetable broth, beef broth, or actual soup, if you can stomach a little bit more like actual meat, like chicken noodle soup, be thinking about those kinds of things. So that's a really good thing on the stomach and for hydration. Then, you can also do, like, if you have a cold and like a really big fever with that cold, you could, or even with the flu or whatever, you can do like frozen stuff, like a popsicle or something that's going to, or like ice, things that are going to keep you hydrated, right? I would avoid, if your stomach's not already bothering you, I would avoid coffee. All right. Oh, and the other thing that I would encourage is tea. Tea is amazing. I would stay more away from black tea, just because of the caffeine content, compared to some of the other types of tea. I would say herbal teas are best because they tend to have additional properties due to the plant in them. So peppermint tea is a great one that really helps soothe the stomach. Ginger tea is even better in ways for the stomach. So if you have ginger tea, that's great. That also can help in a lot of other things. Green tea is a good one because it's light and gentle and has a more earthy feel, and there's a lot of health benefits to it too, but not everyone likes the taste of it. So herbal teas again are really good. Floral teas are fine. Actually, lavender and chamomile can be really helpful if you're having trouble resting. I just would kind of see what your tastes are and stick to the more herbal or non-caffeinated, because both caffeine can actually stress your system, but also coffee, and it will actually dehydrate you more. So I would consider tea, especially hot tea, because the steam from it helps if you're congested. So yeah, those are some just ideas on hydration. Let's see. Then I would say one of the other big things is to keep things, especially if you have a cold, humidified. So keeping the air with good humidity levels. So especially when you're sleeping and if you're stopped up, having that kind of good level of humidity and moisture in the air can actually really help. And so, for example, I would suggest, even if you can find a humidifier, like a diffuser. Some of you I know probably like aromatherapy. That is fantastic. There are actual incredible physical benefits to that, but also even just the mental and emotional support that aromatherapy can give you. And if you can find like an aromatherapy humidifier, like a diffuser humidifier, I have one. I have the Dawn Aroma Humidifier. But those are amazing to help support humidity levels in a room. So good levels. I would not suggest adding essential oils to a humidifier that is not specifically designed for it, because they can wear and tear and actually eat through synthetic materials over time, essentially. So it's best to go with something that's designed for use in tandem with essential oils. So humidifiers are great, especially at night. The other thing, if you don't have a humidifier, is steam. Be aware of your fire alarms, of course, if you have really sensitive ones. But I would suggest even taking a bath. If baths used to be one of the most traditional ways of administering medicine and medicinal support in like the past thousands of years. And I do not understand why people do not like baths. Like, that is one of the most relaxing things to me, especially when I'm sick, because one, you feel gross when you're let's just be honest here. When you're sick, you're sweaty, you're gross, you probably stink, you don't feel like getting up a lot and doing stuff. So getting in the bathtub not only can help with aches and pains, it can help clear out your congestion some. It's relaxing, it's warm, comforting. You can add all kinds of things to the bath. You can add Epsom salts, you can add essential oils. Be careful which ones you add, because if your skin is sensitive, that can burn you up. You'll want to probably dilute it with something like bath oil, or also with Epsom salts. That works really well. I like to put lavender essential oil in my Epsom salts when I'm sick, and put that in the bathtub with me. Just make sure to kind of test with your skin sensitivity and stuff first, because water will actually amplify the intensity, since water and oils do not like each other. So it can intensify that effect. So just be aware of that, to either mix it in something, or and just test what's best for you. But I really love that. If you don't have a bathtub, which I think you're crazy if you don't have a bathtub, no offense, but even my own family, I think it's ridiculous when they don't have a bathtub, because it's just the most amazing thing when you're sick, especially. But even if you've just had a hard day, or if you're doing big workout routines and you need a place to rest and have some help with that aches and pains. But anyways, regardless, if you have just a shower, maybe it's because you live in a small apartment or something, that's fine. I'm not judging. If you live somewhere without a bathtub, you can still do that with a shower. For example, the steam from a shower, it can fill a room. Again, be aware of your fire detectors, fire alarms, to not set them off with steam. But if you do have a place where you can close the door and trap the steam in with you and breathe it in, and don't let yourself get too hot to where you're faint, and actually you know, feeling faint and like, you know, you don't want to pass out. So be aware of that. Don't overwhelm yourself if you're not used to it. But the steam from even just a shower can help with congestion and clearing out that feel a little bit. Also, along with that, if you wanted to do oils, you can still do them. You can put them on a washcloth and kind of set it in the corner or something of the shower, where it's going to kind of, that aroma is going to come out a little bit. And as it steams, you may have to play with it a little bit to kind of see what levels work best for you, what kinds and everything. But you can actually put that on something or in something. The other thing is if you wanted to put it in like in like body wash or something, and then kind of like put it where the water's going to hit it and bubble up a bit, and you'll have some of that scent in the steam. So anyways, that kind of humidifying, keeping, you know, airways clean, or clear and clean, that sort of thing. And then as far as one of the other big things, as much as possible, do keep yourself eating well. You do, even though hydration is the most important thing, you do need to eat stuff that's going to nourish your body. So again, fruits are a good choice. They tend to be gentle on the body. And also a lot of them have high water content, like watermelon and pineapple, that can be really good for, you know, they're not ideal in comparison to water for hydration, but they can help. Vegetables are really good. Plain foods like rice or other whole grains like bread and granola can be gentle. Just be aware too, if you're trying to avoid big carbs and stuff, I'm not telling you to not eat healthy when you're sick, but do be aware to have those kinds of things on hand in case for some reason you're sick. My suggestion would be something like brown rice. That's just personally what I really like. And then broths are really good because they can be nutritious. If you can handle more like onion and garlic and chicken and those kinds of things, they can actually support your immune system. I know some people don't believe that, but it is true that they can help nourish your system. But yeah, as much as you can eat plain and simple, but keep yourself nourished. So still eating as consistently as possible. You know, if you need to do like a protein shake or, you know, like a smoothie, those are really good options because, you know, that not only can you pack tons of fruits and vegetables, especially if they're already frozen, like if you have frozen spinach, if you have frozen blueberries or raspberries, or, you know, put some proteins in there, put some like peanut butter or some protein powders or greens, you know, whatever you have. Smoothies and nutritious shakes are really good too, and they tend to be easier on the system as well. If you're really having trouble holding down food, just do your best. And if it becomes an issue where you're not able, if you're continuously getting like throwing up and not being able to hold down water, especially, but even food, then that's probably when you want to go in to whoever your regular doctor is, or try to get into urgent care or something. I would say whoever knows you best, who you consistently see, is probably best. Like I try to avoid going in at all costs. That's not always a good thing. Sometimes I'm too stubborn, but I do go to my regular doctor a lot when she's available. If I'm sick, I would say definitely call ahead so that, you know, they can be prepared if you are sick, or even just to let you know if there's a reason that you should go somewhere else, like either because of wait times, or if, you know, if you're not really feeling that poorly, they may tell you to wait and like wait a certain amount of time and see how you're doing. Anyways, though, those are just some ideas. Maybe I'll think of some more that I've been doing over these last few days. I will say that I was a little bit less prepared. Typically, I try to keep a lot of stuff on, which I did have a lot of stuff on hand in a way, but I actually usually in the fall start making different, I usually make my own, sometimes tea blends, or I'll have ingredients on hand for broths. in like soups. And I did have a lot of good plain rice and some chicken broth on hand and that kind of thing, but I will say that I was a little bit less prepared than usual. I try to make also like honey is a really good one for like throats, and just tastes really good in tea, and even sometimes I'll just do a little bit of honey on its own when I have a sore throat with something, or adding essential oils in, those kinds of things. I usually am a little bit more prepared, but it's all right. You know, I just need to stay on top of that. But I still did the things that I needed to do to take care of myself. And sometimes it's just, this is one of those times where I've been sick multiple days. And yeah, I'm glad I could at least, you know, kind of do some things from bed, but it has definitely been a doozy. I'm hoping I'll be up and running tomorrow, but I will take it easy still, and not push it. Usually like colds can last almost like a week or more. Flu stuff can be like 5 days or more. Like symptoms can be like 5 days, and then you can be still like weak and stuff. There are all kinds of things, and that's not even like 100%. That's just like some of the averages I've read before, and then from my own experience. But yeah, I think I had some kind of flu or stomach flu, still in the middle of it, but hopefully it will go away soon. I'm doing everything I can to take care of myself. Oh, also supplements, by the way. This is huge with nutrition and immune system. Make sure you're still taking your supplements if at all possible. Like if you're throwing them up, obviously I know that's not easy. I would pretty much choose any other symptom over throwing up. But I would say try your best to keep those down as well, because whatever supplements, like if you're taking a multivitamin, or for example, I'm taking Lifelong Vitality and the MetaPower system, but if you're taking things, even multivitamins or things like, calcium or magnesium or, vitamin C, vitamin D, whatever it is that you need to also take, please keep doing that as much as possible. Keep those down and continue the supplements, because that'll help both with nutrition and also immune support to fight off whatever you have. So yeah, that's it for today. I know it's longer. I'm actually kind of glad I could talk a little bit longer. I am feeling exhausted though. This is actually kind of overwhelming me a little bit. I think this is the longest I've really done anything in the last several days. That's sad. Aside from modifying plans in the morning for subs, like for the subs that day, I have pretty much been not doing anything, and that's been exhausting me anyways, where I have to go lay back down. So anyways, I hope you all have a great day. I will hopefully be up and running again more tomorrow and can actually, talk to you and see you on the camera. Well, you see me on the camera, I can't see you. Anyways, my brain is starting to slowly lose focus, and I think I need to go lay back down. But I just wanted to share those thoughts with you on taking care of yourself while you're sick. Hope these help. What kinds of things do you guys do when you're sick? I'm always looking for more ideas with, different foods that help you, or tea blends are great, essential oil blends, those kinds of things. What are you all doing to take care of yourself when you're sick? Go ahead and mention it below. I'd love to hear it. I'm sure everybody else would love to, have different ideas of how did you take care of yourself when you were sick. All right, well, you guys are awesome. I hope you are doing well, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.